So, what does it mean to be independent? Well, on an individual basis, it basically means that you are self-sufficient and are capable of performing certain tasks on your own. In a nutshell, it basically means that you do not need anyone's help with anything. In the case of countries, to be an independent country means to have a unique domestic and foreign policy, be prepared to defend the land from any acts of aggression, and have a flourishing economy without any foreign assistance. Now, moving to our main topic of discussion, my beloved country, the motherland, let me just start off by saying happy independence. Actually, no. There is no such thing as Happy Independence Day in Lebanon, and here is why. First, on April 30, 2005, after 30 years of the occupation of Lebanese territory, Syrian troops finally left the country, and their withdrawal was celebrated mostly by the Christians and Sunni Muslims in Lebanon. Second, on May 25, 2000, after 18 years of occupying Lebanon, Israel called it quits and withdrew all military personnel and equipment back to their military bases, and their withdrawal was celebrated predominantly by the Shiite Muslims. Finally, on November 22, 1943, France ended its colonial ambitions in Lebanon and gave us a country, and this resulted in joyous celebrations amongst all the religious groups in the country. It feels good to be free, huh? Not really, no. Here's the thing. Normally, a country has only one day to celebrate its independence. So I am going to ask the following question right now. Why does Lebanon celebrate its independence 3 times a year? Why? How can we call ourselves an independent and sovereign nation if we can't agree on how, when, and from whom did we get our independence from? Another reason why Lebanon isn't an independent nation is this. The country is divided along sectarian lines, and each religious sect relies heavily on a foreign power to assist it in its respective political ambitions in Lebanon. Again, there is a problem with this. Treating your religious sect as more important than having a sovereign nation is in itself unethical. Also, will someone please explain to me, how can a sovereign nation be born and survive for a long period of time if it is full of division, and this division is only exacerbated and made more problematic by diabolical foreign powers who want to influence and twist our foreign policy in such a way that it fully favors their own foreign as well as domestic policy, while causing us great distress and misery? My friends, we have been living in the darkness, in the corruption, and in suffering for too long now. The division which currently exists in our country is harming future generations of Lebanese citizens and is obliterating any chances of having an independent nation. This division which we currently have is the reason why foreign powers interfere in Lebanon's affairs constantly. They see weakness in the division which we ourselves created, and they fake their pity and they help certain religious groups, but in reality they want something in return and are constantly pitting us against one another while they are the ultimate benefiters. These foreign powers completely disregard the needs of the Lebanese people, and the same can be said about the political parties which we have in Lebanon. People, for the love of God, this is common sense here. If anyone of the political parties, anyone at all, even remotely cared for the people or for the country, I promise you this, we would have noticed even the slightest bit of improvement. I'm not talking about anything big here, I'm just talking about small improvement. We would have at least noticed something small changing, some change happening. Even if it's small, it still counts for something. We would have noticed some change in Lebanon. But obviously, it is clear that these people do not care for us. They do not care for us, not one bit. The political parties in Lebanon and their foreign backers, they just have one goal in mind. They just want to keep getting filthy rich and keep getting their way at the expense of Lebanon and the Lebanese people. If we are to ever have an independent nation, we have to start off by stopping ourselves from being divided into different religious sects who each have a state within a state, and start thinking as a cohesive unit which is known as the Lebanese people. Once we start to behave as a cohesive unit, It is only then that we start our journey to understanding what being an independent nation is and how to reach an independent nation. The time for change is now. The time to do the right thing is now. As of this day, we blatantly refuse to be cowards. As of this day, we will do everything in our power to protect our motherland from harm. Let this day go down in history as the day in which we started a movement which will bring happiness to us, to our children, to our diligent working class, and to future generations of Lebanese citizens. Let us work endlessly, day and night, until every living soul on this planet calls our country by a long forgotten name. And that name, my friends, is the Switzerland of the Middle East. Lebanon was once a beautiful country, and I say this, let us make it beautiful again and leave it beautiful from now until the end of the world. Lebanon, its people, and its government are not and will never be for sale. We are no one's property, and we will never, not in a billion years, commit national suicide and lead our country astray to a dreaded abyss which destroys our country and brings suffering to our people. To all the foreign powers who treat us like their personal slaves, we are happy to have diplomatic relations with you. However, we will not do any dirty work for you, let alone fight any of your wars, if it does not do any good for the country and rather harms the country more than it does good for the country. Lebanon is a country for the Lebanese people and for the Lebanese people alone. Lebanon is a country which solely decides its own domestic and foreign policy and does not cave in to foreign influence or pressure. Finally, Lebanon, God willing, will grow to be a strong country which has a powerful military, can protect its own borders, and guarantees a peaceful, tolerant, and respected life for each and every one of its citizens, regardless of their religious affiliation. Once we start to think as a homogeneous community which has achieved unanimous consensus on what are the best interests for Lebanon and its people, then and only then can we safely say that our country is an independent nation and we can proudly celebrate a day for our independence. Thank you to all my viewers. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not yet done so. Spread the word far and wide. God bless you all and never stop fighting the tyranny. Until we meet again, I wish you all the best and have a nice weekend.